Hi guys, I'm here to show you today how to make a Bisquick crumb cake. These boxes don't have the recipe on it anymore, but I actually had saved an old box from many years ago. So the recipe is right here. I'm going to be posting the picture of that when I'm done. So the reason I'm showing you how to make this is that I kind of modify it a little bit. So I'm going to start with the cake part. This is 2 cups of Bisquick. I'm just going to make sure I read everything. So I'm going to dump the 2 cups of Bisquick in the bowl. Next I'm going to add what it says, 2/3 cup of milk. Oops. So it's 2/3 cup of milk. It says or water, but I prefer the milk. I have here 2 tablespoons of sugar. Tablespoons. That's the bigger one. And then I have what it calls for, 1 large egg. So I'm just gonna put that in there. Now I'm just gonna take this and mix it up. I've made thousands of these since oh my god, years making this. So when my kids were little in school, I used to love to bake for them before they came home, so that way they could have that, you know, that sense of, oh, coming home hungry, tired, and there's something nice in the house baking, so they can have a snack. So it turns out one day I had gotten this far. I had mixed the cake part of it, and in a separate bowl I had the crumble that goes on the top. All I had to do was take this, put it in the mold, the cake pan, and then I had a separate bowl next to it. Well, in comes along my older son, and he thought he'd help me, and he took all the crumble and he threw it on here, and I was so upset because I'm like, no, he ruined it, whatever. I was upset, so I baked it, and I think it came out better than just putting this first in the bowl, in the cake pan, and then drizzling the topping on it. So that's the way I've been doing it ever since, because my son was trying to help me. Regardless, needless to say, he was pretty upset that he messed up the recipe, but little did he know that that's how I'll be making it for the rest of my life. Alright, so now we're going to get to the crumble part, and I'm going to measure it in front of you, so don't mind me. That calls for, let me get my measuring cup. Calls for 1/3 cup of original Bisquick, okay? 1/3 cup of packed brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 2 tablespoons of firm butter or margarine. And you gotta mix it, bring it together until it's crumbly. So just give me a second while I get my cinnamon, and I'll be right back. Alright, so let's get started. Let me get the right again. So I'll need 1/3 cup of Bisquick. So I'm just going to get that. So here I have 1/3 cup. Next it calls for 1/3 cup of packed brown sugar. So this is where I change mine a little bit. I do add the 1/3 of packed brown dark sugar. Here we have 1/3 cup of packed brown sugar. But I like to come in and add extra like that. Reason I like to do that is because I like when it's baking in the pan, chunks of this collect on the corners of the pan, and it kind of gets caramely. I don't know, it just it's tastier. Now it says a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Again, this is where I change it up, and I'll be adding 1 teaspoon because I like to have more flavor. So here I have 1 teaspoon. Now that's the smaller one, the smaller spoons. Next, let me see. It asks for 2 tablespoons of firm butter. Okay, and there again, I change it up. Now, let me just move this over a second so I have a little surface here to cut on. So I'm just going to cut, here's 1 teaspoon, here's 2 teaspoons. I go a little bit extra. It's well, almost 3. You could do the 2 as it calls for, but again, because I have the extra sugar in there, I like when the sugar and the butter meet in the corners, and it just gets so good. Now this is right out of the refrigerator. It's nice and firm. Now I'm going to use my pie crust mixer or chopper, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to crumble this till it's crumbly. You can use whatever you have to mix this. At home you could use a knife, 2 knives, and just cut into it, cut the butter into it. Or you could use forks, 2 forks, and crumble it together. This is how I'm going to be doing mine. I'm using the back of my knife, not the sharp edge, to do this. Get all that butter out of there. Now the reason I've modified the crumble part a little bit more is because the original recipe is perfect in the way that they recommend that you do it. But for myself, the extra little chunks of sugary, cinnamony, buttery chunks cooking in the oven just like caramelizes. So this is almost done. And I think I'm going to leave it like that. Again, I'm cleaning with the back of the knife. That's that. Now here's where I had it at my house when I had picked up my son from school. Crumble cake. And when I come, I look, this is what I found. And I'm like, oh my god, no! So, what was I going to do? He was young. And that was it. So what I do now is I take and I kind of fold it into each other. Like that. I'm not mixing it. As you can see, I'm just folding it in like so. And that's it. Just go in. Don't mix. Don't incorporate. Just fold it. Because you want to have layers of crumble in between the actual cake batter. And that's that. Now, here I have a square Pyrex. I don't remember what size this is. It could be 9 by 9. This is 8 by 8. Instead of using the regular dish that you use, I like this. I like it to be lower, not so high. And then I cut it into little squares. Alright, so this is all I do. Now, in all the years that I've been making this, no one has ever complained. They love it. And your house is going to smell amazing when all this starts to waft through the house. It's cinnamon. Alright, I'm doing my best to get this out. Now that's done. So what I'll do, because it's nice and thick and it's not as runny as it would be when you have just the cake batter on the bottom, I just bring it to the corners a little bit. And that's that. Now for the original recipe, I just want to go over that in case you want to do the original recipe, since I did give you, I will give you the original recipe at the end of the video and on the description box below. So basically this says here, I have my oven preheated. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. It says oven to 375, grease a round pan 9 by 1.5, prepare streusel topping and reserve. Then it says mixing ingredients, beat 30 seconds, spread in pan, sprinkle with streusel topping, bake 18 to 22 minutes or until golden brown. Serve warm. 8 servings. Streusel topping over here. The ingredients are 1/3 cup of Bisquick original baking mix, 1/3 cup of packed brown sugar, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and 2 tablespoons of firm margarine or butter until crumbly. Alright, so basically this is the original recipe. You can do it that way, or you can do the way that I modified it. Adding a little extra butter and a little extra sugar and cinnamon is only going to make it that much better. Alright guys, I will bake this off now, and when we come back I will show you what it looks like. Alright guys, here you have it, the finished coffee cake, crumb cake, however you like to call it. This just came out of the oven. Like I said before, it smells amazing, and this one does not have the crumbs on the outside. It's all incorporated on the inside, and all that buttery brown sugary crumble mix is around the edges, which is going to be amazing when you cut into it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and it's been informative, and you try it this way once. Otherwise, like I said before, I will be putting the recipe for the original crumb cake on the back, on the bottom of the video. So enjoy. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and give that's it, I guess. Alright guys, thank you. Enjoy, and have it nice and hot with ice cream. It's even better. Take care.